Good morning and what it do, YouTube? I am your boy Tony Vogue, the E-Boy Zombie Slayer, and you are on my B channel, which I treat as sort of a vlog. There's games here too, but we do a lot of reactions and a lot of contemplation on this channel. So, 2023, the year of disclosure, or the year of Project Bluebeam, the year of government conspiracies, or the year of the government coming clean. We've had more than 5 objects shot down across the world from the sky, UFOs shot out of the sky. And Leonore Clay, from A Darkest Secret, has gotten to this topic before me. So let's hear what she has to say.
We can already say that the world is experiencing one of the most amazing events in living memory.
That we are.
I'm talking about the 4 objects that, as of the date I wrote the story, Wednesday, February 15th, the United States has shot down and has not yet identified their origin.
Chinese
But
test
those
aircraft.
events have not been exclusive to the United States. Hundreds of UFOs have begun to be seen around the world. A series of coincidences that are worth linking and analyzing. A phenomenon has aroused the concern of the authorities of the most powerful countries in the world. Of course, all of this has given rise.
My personal view is that we're in a new era of how warfare will be conducted. There's all sorts of new test weapons and aircraft in the sky, and this is the perfect cover for them.
To an endless number of theories that will surely surprise you. What is this about? Are we on the verge of inevitable alien contact? Or something? Is it just a smokescreen to cover up other much darker and sinister events? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes you will know in depth what is happening here. My name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present the most amazing...
Guys, if you don't subscribe to The Darkest Secret, please do. This is one of the channels that every time I react to, I recommend that my fans subscribe to. Leonore Clay is a captivating presenter and narrator, but The Darkest Secret just always has that best subject matter.
And chilling event of 2023. While every effort was made to review the sources from which this video was put together, some of the information presented here may not be accurate. Additionally, in conjunction with official information, personal comments are provided here that may misrepresent the original meaning of the information presented.
I love
which
that
is why
disclaimer.
in no way what you're about to see here should be considered the truth. This video was made with the sole purpose of entertaining, and many of the things you are about to know are nothing more than theories or personal appreciations regarding public access news. Therefore, discretion is advised.
Public access news. This is becoming such a huge topic. The topic of public access news, that we have horror themed YouTube channels really speaking on public access news here. And that's what really attracted me to this video.
It is true that from time to time, recordings of unidentified flying objects emerge in various parts of the world. Some, of course, are more explainable than others. But believe me, nothing, absolutely none of that, compares to what has been happening in recent days. Probably something like this has not occurred since the Roswell case. And now, not with just one object shot down, but with 4 or maybe even 5 that have been shot down both by the United States as well as by Russia and China. Since the beginning of this month, the media around the world have been following the news regarding a string of sightings of unidentified flying objects flying through the airspace of both the United States and Canada. But be careful. We are not talking about the typical phenomena recorded by common people that are quickly forgotten. Here we are in the presence of sightings that are generating a lot of concern within the highest government spheres. So much so that they have even been carrying out military action to, it is said, safeguard the security of those nations.
Space Force. Huh. Space Force was just founded a couple of years ago. Huh. Excuse me, YouTube.
It all started on February 4th when the media began to report that the US military had shot down an alleged surveillance balloon off the coast of South Carolina. There were several photos that normal civilians took of this balloon, immediately revealing that it was human technology. It was then that US President Joe Biden gave the order to bring down the balloon when it was already over the ocean, where its remains fell, which until now are being examined. There were several witnesses to this event, confirming that the balloon was destroyed after being hit by a missile. In fact, there are images that have been published on social networks showing that moment.
Was the balloon.
This would only be the first of a series of incidents that would be seen in the days to come. On February 10th, the United States confirmed the fall of a second object that, according to comments, remained static in the sky north of Alaska, and most importantly, according to the authorities, unlike the Chinese balloon, it lacked any system of propulsion or control and was completely far from the appearance of any balloon you have seen. What you will see below are the first photos of that incident.
What the fuck?
Note that it was taken down, but it was not a balloon since it did not explode as the Chinese balloon did, nor was it destroyed when it hit the ground. This object was built in a surprising way. It slid several miles until it was immersed in the snow. Combat officers who viewed these photographs say it is eerily similar to objects seen in the Nimitz aircraft carrier encounters. In case you don't know, the UFO encounter with that aircraft carrier is one of the most spectacular that exists.
Oh, the Nimitz.
The story of what was seen on that occasion coincides with the version that more than a dozen officers declared, and goes like this. The U.S. Navy was carrying out a military exercise near the coast of Mexico.
Okay.
A series of ships followed closely behind the Nimitz aircraft carrier, when suddenly the radars of one of the ships detected a set of strange objects near the island of San Clemente. The radar indicated that it was not a known.
Where the hell is the island of San Clemente? Like, obviously, we know a rough geographical location, but
aircraft due to its structure, speed, and height of the flight.
Strategically
and above all, because they suddenly appeared in groups of 5 to 10. The only logical probability of such a situation was the malfunction of the radars. Therefore, they reset them. One of the specialists in charge of the radar was Kevin Day, with 18 years of experience in these situations. He was the first witness to see how these strange objects performed impossible maneuvers for it to be human technology. They were flying too high to be birds and too slow to be a human-made aircraft, and they did not correspond to any commercial flight. Some of these things came down quickly from the sky and landed only 49 feet above sea level. They received direct orders from the Pentagon not to act, especially since they disappeared out of nowhere. It was like this for several days, until the military exercise required the flight of combat planes.
Yeah.
One of the pilots was Lieutenant Colonel Douglas Kurth. He was carrying out the scheduled maneuvers when he received an order from the aircraft carrier. His instruction was to investigate the appearance of a new group of these strange ships that they had seen for days. The pilot was asked if he was carrying weapons, and his answer was no. Everything I'm telling you was recorded in official documents that were revealed to the media when this case became famous. When the pilot arrived at the indicated point, he found nothing. Nothing was visible on the radar either.
What the fuck?
However, when he looked down, he noticed a kind of turbulence in the water, as if an object had recently been submerged. The strange thing is that sometimes it generates the shape of a cross. Another plane
That is very odd. For a long time, people have speculated that UFOs submerge themselves into the sea, or UAPs, as we now call them.
accompanying the lieutenant, they both decided to go around and see the set of bubbles even closer. When they made that maneuver and began to descend, they noticed the strange oval-shaped ship performing erotic maneuvers right over that cross.
Erotic.
It was compact,
Oh,
not
man,
very
Google
big,
fucking
white and completely
closed
smooth.
captions.
There was nowhere where an engine could be installed. And the strangest thing was the weird movements it made, impossible for any ship with human technology. One of the planes continued descending in a spiral, getting closer and closer, until the moment in which the UFO stopped and began to rapidly approach the plane. Both of them were now flying in circles. The UFO was going up while the plane was going down. In an effort to get even closer, the pilot made an aggressive move toward the UFO, to which the UFO responded by accelerating to hypersonic speed and then disappearing within a microsecond.
So it accelerated to above Mach 1 hypersonic and disappeared.
As the initial idea was simply a flight exercise, they did not have cameras on them, which is why when they returned to the aircraft carrier and explained what they had seen, they decided to send another ship, now equipped with infrared tracking cameras. A few minutes of flight were enough for another similar object to be detected flying in the sky. The object was so far away that it was invisible to the human eye, but it could be recorded by the camera installed on the plane. What you're seeing now is what the cameras on Chad Underwood's plane recorded that day. And the images that are just being published to the public describe something very similar to what was captured that day. The day after this event, that is February 11th, authorities announced the demolition of a new unidentified device over the Canadian territory of Yukon, located about 160 kilometers from the border with the United States.
What the fuck?
This object, also described as cylindrical, was reportedly at a high altitude, requiring the use of a fighter jet to destroy it. And if the above were not enough, only 24 hours passed for the announcement of the destruction of a new, unidentified flying device. This time, there were several planes that on Sunday, February 12th, shot down a fourth object of unknown origin in the vicinity of Lake Huron. This time its form was not an oval shape.
What the fuck? Why am I not hearing all about these?
According to the information emanating from the Pentagon, the device had an octagonal shape that has not yet been examined, so they couldn't provide more details. And as if so many sightings were not enough, during that same week, the story of a person who claimed to have recorded a strange laser from space began to circulate on the internet.
What the
No,
fuck?
don't assume.
Guys, what the hell is going on?
This is not just a story without evidence. There is a video.
What the motherfuck? That's no Aurora Borealis. That's a space laser. Yes, sir, you're goddamn right, that's a space laser, sir. It's a Gundam.
What you were seeing was recorded in Hawaii, where mysterious laser-like beams of light lit up the sky one night. A phenomenon that at a time was not very widespread, but due to recent events also became relevant. And no, it is not fake. It's not from a movie. This really happened. As if they were scanning us from space.
Project Blue Beam.
However, to calm you down in case you thought that we were being invaded, these light turned out to come from one of China's satellites. It was doing a ground scan for 3D maps. China has already stated that referring to the first of these incidents, that is, the spy balloon, has been launched from their territory, and that by mistake it entered North American airspace. What clearly put a focus of tension between the administrations of Washington and Beijing. However, of the 3 subsequent incidents so far, there's no clarity.
What in the fuck?
Could it be a coincidence that there are so many sightings in such a short period of time? There have always been balloons and espionage attempts, but since Roswell, there have been no reports that a UFO had been shot down. And by this, I mean an object that, even having its parts, fails to be identified. Four unidentified flying objects taken down in the last week? Could something like that be a coincidence? Or does its answer
I need to know what they took down in Alaska / Yukon.
go further? Could we be on the verge of an extraterrestrial contact? Why did this happen now and not
Shit, like Huron's even closer to me and that's an octagon? What the hell?
before? As expected for this type of case in various social networks and internet forums, conspiracy theories did not wait, being the so-called smokescreens, the ones that have attracted the most attention. Hundreds of people did not buy the UFO story and immediately concluded that it was a diversion. In truth, this usually happens. Much of the population distrusts their government and always suspects double intentions. But if we start to analyze this particular situation, there are indeed pieces of news that the American government perhaps wanted to keep low, exposing the UFO profile. One is a train accident in Ohio that released toxic chemicals both into the air and probably into the water as well. Something that hasn't been in the news much. But most point their darts at one of the loudest scandals in recent times. And I'm referring to the case in which the late millionaire Jeffrey Epstein was involved. As you will remember,
What the hell, Leonore Clay? Darkest Secret, I did not expect this reacting to a Darkest Secret video. We just went from UFOs to Jeffrey Epstein. And the transition. Let's just do that again.
however, of the 3 subsequent incidents so far, there's no clarity. In such a short period, there have been an object that identified flying objects taken down in the last week. Could something like that be a coincidence? Or does its answer? Why did this happen now and not before. As expected for this type of case, being the so-called of people did not buy the UFO story, happened indeed pieces of news exposing the UFO profile. One is a train accident in Ohio that released
the Ohio train accident.
Winter Dark into the case in which the late millionaire Jeffrey Epstein was involved. As you will remember, he and his partner Glenn Maxwell formed a true sex trafficking network in which hundreds of youngsters, mostly minors, were involved. A network, according to what is said, protected by great business, political, entertainment, and even royalty personalities, who, according to what was denounced at the time, also formed an active part of this network. Undoubtedly a highly controversial case, although you may be wondering, what does this have to do with the recent UFO incidents? Well, on February 12th of this year, the Daily Mail medium indicated that the complete list of more than 2,000 pages would be released very soon, which would include the names of all those who were part of this great network of abuse. People who currently enjoy great power and prestige, who obviously would do anything in their power to prevent this list from being made public. Since 2019, a document has been circulated where some names partially appear, including Kevin Spacey, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Larry Summers, who was the United States Secretary of Treasury in 1999, among many others.
Wow.
However, in that document, the real relationship they had with Epstein is not revealed. They could have flown for business reasons. So at this point, in no way are these names evidence that they've done anything illegal. But according to Daily Mail, access to the real list of the 167 clients that this man had will soon be given. What will be revealed are documents referring to alleged perpetrators or people accused of serious misdemeanors. They included law enforcement officers and prosecutors, according to a statement filed last week.
So all this is a cover for the Epstein shit?
Some say that then to cover up that media information, all this related to sightings was constructed. You know, as a way to divert public attention.
This is way bigger than that.
There are also some who add to the smokescreen the earthquakes that recently shook Turkey and Syria. That both events are somehow related.
Man. There's been so much
Project
weird shit.
Blue.
And in Canada, we've had a series of explosions on our natural gas and like propane and like shit like that, like in a chemical plant. Weird shit, man.
Beam, among others, resonates on Twitter and other social networks. However, so far it is not something that can be confirmed. But the strange thing about the smokescreen theory is that it would only benefit the United States. The Epstein case or the contamination in Ohio are only things that would affect, for the most part, only that country. Therefore, everything should be a display that strictly involves events in the United States. Something that is not the case, since the activity of UFOs not only increased in the United States, but also in all parts of the world. Due to everything that happened between Russia and Ukraine, the normal news from Russia does not reach these places. But since January, the destruction of a ball-shaped object that flew at an altitude of about 1.5 miles had been in the Russian news, over the village of Sultan Salah.
What? So the Russians been shooting down UFOs as well, recently.
A region located along the Sea of Azov, a waterway of strategic value for the war with Ukraine. In fact, some internet users say the sightings of this type have been increasing since the conflict between Russia and Ukraine broke out. China also claimed to have destroyed a UFO a few days ago.
not really in Chinese interests. It's not really in Chinese interests right now to be covering up anything American, so.
But the sightings have not been exclusive to the powers. Sightings in other parts of the world have also flooded my mail during the last weeks. For example, this was captured in the city of Medellin, Colombia.
What?
Sightings of this type have also been detected in Mexico. Or also this other, captured in El Salvador.
What the fuck?
La pregunta es, ¿qué es eso en el cielo?
That's a ton of UFO sightings, man.
Es estático. No sé si avanzar, nos quedamos aquí o qué hacemos. Bueno, vámonos pues por si nos van a abducir. Ahí tengo evidencia.
And so they have also happened in other places. It seems that these sightings are not restricted only to the ones with power.
This is nuts.
There are various places where objects with no known provenance are being seen in the skies. What is your opinion of all these events? What is behind all this? Personally, I think that all this is quite disconcerting. And it is that beyond the conspiracies put forward on social networks, until now there is no information that one qualifies as reliable. Yet, the great increase in UFO sightings everywhere does not stop attracting my attention. Not to mention the photos that are beginning to be published that show things that are far from what they had always displayed to us. Although, as always, I prefer to use common sense and find more realistic, more reliable explanations. And one thing is certain, never before had balloons or spy ships invaded a country in such a way. Therefore, I am more inclined towards everything being a rather delicate military strategy. Perhaps it is all about a strategy that China and Russia are carrying out against the United States. A kind of geopolitical move that seeks to test how efficient their defense systems are. For purposes, perhaps, not peaceful. What are your theories regarding this? Aliens? Smokescreen? A military strategy? Note that these are the three alternatives, and all three are equally disturbing. Let me know what you think, as this video has now come to an end. I'm Leonore Clay.
What
And this was The Darkest.
in the fuck, Leonore Clay? World, what the hell is going on? This is a very important video for everyone to watch, and watch again, and watch the original of. So I'm gonna link it in the description so you can watch the uncommented on content. But please recommend this video to your friends. Half of these events occurred in my backyard, and I'll fact check them, and I'll pin a post saying I've fact checked and what I discover to be good and bad information. But what a ride. Holy crap. Your boy Tony Vogue. Till next time. Ha.